Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got the Z, which is a good scoring tile. WU, not good. I can sort this out very easily with was, one of the words which came in with the most recent word update, and the rack leave looks okay. I've also got Rosit on my rack, but that would keep WU, so it's not better. I'm just wondering if there's a longer play. Words isn't good, it's Wurtzeit. And a better play would probably be a 5-letter play beginning or ending with a Z, and I can't see one of those, so I'm going with this. Not great. 3 of any tile is irksome, mainly because there are limited bingo opportunities and also just limited word choice available. Triton is good, which would burn 6 tiles, but I may not wish to burn so many. If I can get rid of 2 T's, then the rack leave is likely to be reasonable. So a play of Tot, for example, would leave INRT, which would go well with a floating E or an E drawn to the rack. The opening play of Was limits my opponent's scoring opportunities, which is his cue for playing a bingo in row I. Let me scroll down so that we can track the scoring. Was and Was, that is WAZ, were both new in the latest word update and are both really handy. W and Z, before they came in, lacked synergy. They still lack synergy, but they're less unsynergetic. Was has no hooks. Now, if my opponent changes, I could play Tot under Was, making Ut and Zo. I need to be sure there isn't a bingo with this rack. Great, only 17 points, and that's one of the advantages of playing a short word like Was. It limits my opponent's scoring potential. In particular, notice that no double word squares were within reach. So, do I still have Tot? Well, I do, because Apo is good. Depot is not, so I can't score off the Z. Now, what about an ITO play for the score? Well, I'm tempted to go with Triton, although Tot kept a nicer rack leave. The Triton score is a lot better, and in any event, the Rint rack leave wasn't stellar. Now, Intort is the anagram of Triton, but I don't think that can score as much. Triton does take an E and an S at the end. Great, that's pretty good. I have Ox Gates. At the moment, that plays in row K, making no. But my opponent could well play around that spot, and Was has really killed development at the top of the board because nothing goes in front of the Z and nothing goes after Was. Wet takes nothing in front. Oxgates doesn't play at the beginning of row K. Through an E, I would have Geotaxes. I can't see anything through the T of Triton. And there's just one placement in row K for Oxgates. That would open a 9-timer, but it would just generally add a lot of volatility to the board because it would provide several useful floaters and open up row L as a bingo lane. But that's not a problem. The board usually does open up at some point. If my opponent plays down column 10, making tritone, I may be able to play Oxgates, hooking whatever play he makes. Great. My row K spot remains available. My opponent's play is not provided anywhere new, so I do have Oxgates here. Do I have an 8-letter play through the N or the Y? No. Not that I can see. So ox gates for 82. Pretty ropey rack, but often the case when you're drawing 7 random tiles. Only the one vowel, which makes it tricky to leave a decent rack leave. What I'd like to do is leave 3 consonants rather than 4, but that may not be possible to do. I certainly want to split up the duplicate N and play one of the K or the V, so a play of dank would work. Volt through an O would be useful, keeping hold of the A. Now, in terms of floating vowels on the board, it's really the A and D of ox gates. So do I have a play in column 14? Well, I do. I have venal, keeping D, N, K. That's quite nice. Likely to be blocked if my opponent plays in column 15. And I also have vandal in column 12 through the A. That plays off a lot of the consonants. Not a great score. But almost any play with a decent rack leave is going to score well enough. I don't think there are going to be any great scores available with this rack. If I had an F, I could play Keenaf in column 14. I can't see a play which uses the K and the V and one of the N's. So, what other spots are available? Well, what about column 3? My K can go in front of the I. K-A-N works, but that's not a word, and there's not a longer word available. Dank does play in this spot. That would score quite well. 33 points. Okay, well, I wasn't expecting any great scores, but that's slightly more than I thought was available. So I have Vandal for 22. And I have Dank for 33, 11 more points. It would be nice to get rid of the V, but I think 11 more points justifies keeping it. Now, what about column 15? The triple word squares are still available, and my opponent has provided a blank in the O. Do I have any plays down there? Well, not that I can see. Dank does take an S, despite it looking and being an adjective. So I will go with this. Well, I draw 2 vowels, which is good. F and V lack synergy. It would be nice to play off one of them. I've also got the J to deal with, so quite a non-bingo-y and tricky rack to deal with here. Through an I would have javelin. Just the 17 points for my opponent. Now, I'm not prioritising playing off the J, but I've got 3 tiles in the F, J and V, and I'd really like to play off any 2 of them. So I can play Java through this A, 28 points. Do I have anything in column 15? Close to Phi Joas, but I don't have that. I have Javel on my rack. I can't see anywhere for that. I'm just wondering if I have a play in column 12, which places the J on this double letter square. Can't see one. I'm quite attracted to Java. It doesn't give much away. My opponent can't score off the J, whereas if I had a play with the J doubled, then a 4-letter J play would be available for tripling. So 28 points for Java. Am I missing a hot J spot? Row H, I'm not going to play off 2 of my high-scoring tiles ending in M. There's no action going on in the bottom left. Nothing goes in front of K in terms of a column 2 play, and I don't have an S for going after it. Joe is good, but I can't use that to good effect, so I'm going with this. Great. I draw the first blank, and the rack is looking bingo-y. So I have needful. I can't see anywhere for that. I've got the unprefix. Was is just killing the top right of the board. Column 3 is a useful looking bingo lane, and certainly if I have a 7-letter play ending in E, that would play. Let me cycle through the alphabet and see if anything comes to mind. F and U are bingo. Well, killers is putting it a bit strong. Now, fluence. I think fluence is good, so I do have a column 3 play. And that's needful, which doesn't play in column 3. So effluence through 2 floaters. Effulgent through 2 floaters. Can't see anything there. So at the moment it's just fluence. Needful, not good. Nothing there. That looks promising. Can't see anything. Senseful through an S. Okay, alphabet running out. Okay, so at the moment, in terms of 7s, all I've seen is fluence, which plays, and needful, which doesn't. And fluence plays in column 5 as well as column 3. Both may be blocked. Row H is quite hot. More attractive for a short rack balancing play. It stays available. Fantastic. Slightly annoyingly, my opponent gets a pretty semi-massive score. Now, what about column 15 for a... Well, I was going to say a 9-timer, but Visas kills that. However, a play going through OS could still be tripled and would be better than fluence. Likely to end OSE. Okay, I can't see anything. Well, I don't think there's anything else to think about. Well, just where to position fluence. This scores more. And it's better strategically because the floaters are more restricted in terms of where they can appear in a word than had they been placed in column 5. I have a slight doubt about fluence, so we'll see if it stays on. If it does, I've got 3 L's to deal with. Not great, but I do have a 150-point lead. And I think it'll be fairly straightforward to play off or to sort this rack out because of roll and sill and lilo. I think I'm going to struggle to score with it, though. Danke is not good. Now, the German for thank you, otherwise needful, would have played in row O. Having said it's not good, it may be, but I don't think it is. We'll find out later. Now, is there a 7 with this bingo-y looking rack? I'm just looking at the floaters in fluence. No, I don't think there is a bingo here. Can I play off 2 L's in column 15? Now, what about Cry Ollows? Cry Ollows. I think if that's good, then that could be the play. The C would get doubled, the whole word would get tripled, and it would totally sort the rack out. Well, I'll have to see how attractive that feels, if it's still available. Well, it is still available. So let me see what it looks like on the board. So that is Cryolo's 39 points. I'm not sure of it. If it's good, it is the play. If it's bad, then I've missed out on the opportunity of sorting the rack out with a play of Brill for 21. But 18 extra points, I think, is worth going for. That's a much nicer looking rack. Just waiting to see if this gets challenged. The X has been played. It is challenged and it's good. Fantastic. So my opponent now 170 points adrift. Just 29 tiles in the bag. Now this rack looks far more promising than the last one, but I can't see a 7-letter bingo and I can't think of an 8 with these tiles. So although they're all bingo-y tiles, the combination of them just isn't that great. However, I have Bilge in column 1, which turns over tiles, scores half decently, and leaves an okay rack leave. I'm just looking at the floaters on the board in case an 8 jumps to mind, but Brunt has really obstructed the floater's influence. And this whole board is tightening up nicely. That's certainly what you want when you're trying to hold on to a lead. And my opponent's done nothing to open the board, which is good. Row O rather still available for S and Y hooks for Dank. But I think my priority now is to play in column 1 to take out this 9-timer or simply triple word lane. So Bilge is good. Is Bilged tempting? That's a much better play. It's 6 more points. I think it's good, but I might just be feeling good having gotten it right with Cryolos. Let's see. Well, if it stays on, I've got a fantastic rack. Rows E and C are available for 7-letter bingos, hooking the T of Brunt. So I have Taction. That doesn't play in those rows. And it doesn't play anywhere else. Let me consider the blank as in my mind as an S or a Y to deal with row O. So I can't see anything with the blank as an S. What about the blank as a Y? Well, just citatory. I've noticed Ricotta. I've got Ricotta or Ricotta with the blank as an R. Again, that doesn't play in rows C and E. No other 7-letter bingo lanes available. Now, the C and R and I of Cryolos are available for 8-letter bingos. I would have coattail onto an L. I do have the I for the IC ending. Let me obscure that. Well, can't see anything. And the F of Fluence is available. So I have Faction, that doesn't use both T's. Z's available for an 8 ending in Z. Not many of those, but there are some. The T of Brunt is available for a column 5 bingo, hooking EM. So that would be a 3T word. Well, there are some of those. Row C is available for a bingo beginning or having L in second place, running over the top of Brunt. Can't see anything. Now maybe the R of Cryolas is the most likely. Let me run through the alphabet. I've got 12 minutes left. My opponent's got 7. And see if I can see any 7s or 8s. Nothing so far. Close to chaotic, but nothing. That's coat tail through an A. Masticot through an S. That's taction. Now, does taction have an anagram? Don't think so. That looks like it may be something, but I can't see anything. Okay, a miserable 5 points for my opponent, which is good. So that's Citator and Ricotta. I would have traction onto an N. Stomatic through an M. And Masticot. I've got a feeling there may be a 7 here, which plays in rows C and E, which I've missed, which would be annoying. Cavotti. No, it's Cavetti I'm confusing it with. Citatory through an R. Okay, well that's disappointing. I've seen nothing. Do I carry on looking? Or play a tile? 11 minutes on my clock. What about an OR ending word? Like Citator, but longer. Can't see anything. I think I probably ought to play something. But what and where? So this is tricky because this rack is so close to a bingo and there are bingo lanes. But there are limited opportunities for playing anywhere on the board. Now, column 6 also available for bingos with S in 4th place. It would just be so much easier if I just had a bingo and could play it. And I do. I have Aptotic. And it's the best bingo of all because it is a... well, it's a 4-timer. Aptotic. I'm pretty sure that's good. It might not be. If it's not, I'm confusing it with something that it is good. Let's see. And if it stays on the board, I've drawn pretty well. Not a bingo-y rack, but scoring tiles in the F and the Y and vowels to provided me with lots of options for playing them. If Aptotic is good, I'm surprised it took me so long to see it. But anyway, that's the way things go sometimes. Now, I have a Y for going after Dank. So, how can I score best with that? I've got Foy. Do I have anything longer? I have Fayne, F-A-Y-N-E. 14 tiles left in the bag. 11 tiles left in the bag. Now, I'm not sure about Foyne, F-O-Y-N-E. Still got a Q to come. So it might be worth hanging on to the I. Then at least I could have QI in column 2 and also above the I of Aptotic, so I wouldn't be stuck with it. So quite tempting to just play Foy. I don't particularly want to draw the Q. Quite a lot of vowels left, and I'm keeping a vowel-heavy rack leave. Let me reconsider. 40 points for Foy, that's pretty good. Fayne still keeps the I. And it burns off the A and the E, and there are lots of A's and E's to come. Again, I have doubts about this. which is immensely annoying. But I've been lucky so far. And I'm lucky again in dodging the Q, although if my opponent has the Q with the U, he may have a decent play. I do have a scoring tile in the M, which is handy. I think Feign is good. It's looking... Oh, and it's not good. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. How annoying. How annoying. Okay. Well, I don't think it's going to affect the result of the game. Well, actually, it may be. It is dank, which doesn't take a Y. Right, I need to put that behind me. 5 tiles in the bag, including the Q. My F can go underneath the I. So a simple play of or oaf. Scores well, 31 points. Doesn't involve any phonies, so bring on the challenges. It takes out column 8 as a scoring spot for my opponent. It kills the QI spot of Aptotic. I'm preserving the I for my own... Should I draw the Q? So this has a lot of merit. The Y is a decent scoring tile for next turn, and I'm keeping vowels to go with it. Now, there's also the A of Sweird available for the F, but I'm not going to score more in that spot. Row B might be a good spot if I can get the Y tripled. Can't see a way of doing that. Okay, I think this is good enough. Again, I dodged the Q, but the Q and the U are both out there. 2 tiles in the bag. But I don't think there are any bingos in what's available here. Again, I can't see a play in row B, which gets the Y tripled. So, how am I going to play off my Y with some vowels? Now, the Y can go above the A of Sweird. So, a simple play of A, Y, E would do the job. A, I, Y, double E is also good. Can't see anywhere for that. I wonder if danky was the wrong word. Okay, so where else for my Y apart from the A of Sweird? My opponent may put the M or the H on that spot. And I can't see any other great spots on this board. As in vowels next to premium squares. Now, what about row L for a play ending Y, I? Well, I don't have any of those. Do I have a play in column 8 ending OO? Nope. Nothing plays in column 2 because K takes nothing in front of it. So I'm going to struggle to play off the Y with two or more vowels. I could play Ofay in row B. OFAY. Not a great play. It doesn't score very much and it doesn't leave a great right cleave. I was going to say my F can go after IF, but it's a Y on my rack. Aha. Great. My opponent burns the U, draws the Q, presumably. Is Murage good? I think I'll challenge just in case. It's fine. So I can see what my opponent's got. Is he stuck with the Q? He's got Q, E, H. Where can he play the Q? He can't play it through the U of Murage. No floating eyes. Just nothing. He doesn't have the tiles for Talak. That doesn't play anyway. So I think he is stuck with the queue. So I can play out at my leisure, which I'm not very good at. Where I think I do need to play over this A, otherwise my opponent will just play EH for 30 points. So I know my initial focus is to play here. And I think the difference is I won't play 3 tiles, I'll just play 2. So I will play a Y for 28 points and then just play out 1 tile at a time. Unless I've overlooked a Q spot. But even if I have, this won't have been massively suboptimal. So I don't think there's a lot of thought involved here. I just need to play 5 tiles in 5 goes. I note my I can go underneath XI. I've played off, and I need to be careful with the I not to provide a Q spot, and certainly XI doesn't do that. So I think that's the best spot for my I. My E, one of my E's can go in front of F for 10. Okay, 22 for my opponent. He is now stuck, so let me play this reasonably fast in case my opponent gets bored. Just checking that my opponent hasn't set up a Q spot. He hasn't, so I'll play I here. Opponent passes. I'll play F here, although I could play OV. I'll play F. It gives me the ON option. Opponent should pass again. So I could play ON for 12 points, but where's the best spot for my N? 5 minutes on my clock. Nowhere, so I think I will play ON. In this case, I'm playing ON or EN. So where's best for an O or an E on this board? Bio for 5. Okay, I think the O's likely to be more flexible. Right, where can I play my O? Emo 5. Oni 6. Can I score more than 6 with my O? I don't think so. So, well, that is the end of the game. Not sure if that's gone to the right person. So, let me... Okay, great, that's that done. So, a big game. The final score, 307 to my opponent, 535 to me, a winning margin of 228 points. So a huge, huge win. Always good to get over the 500 mark. A slight blot on the copybook with that phony, but never mind. Let's see what I missed. Tig sounds so phony. So, this was the start of the game. It was me to play first. I played Was, that looks fine. Nice rack for my opponent. He doesn't have a bingo, fortunately. He plays Dep. I now have Triton. That looks fine. Not a nice rack for my opponent. He plays Mutiny, which was a good spot. That leaves me free to play my bingo with Oxgates. Horrible rack for my opponent. He plays oo. So he had a lot of vowels. I had a lot of consonants. Caval, that's quite nice, but it keeps duplicate N. That's not good. I played dank. And I think of the rack leaves, of the top three choices, LNV is probably best. Okay. So, this was my opponent's rack, still struggling with vowels. He plays Rye. Ooh, Afflage. Nice play. What did I do? I played Java for 28, but wow, Afflage certainly better. K12. Ah, getting the J doubled at the bottom. I was looking above it. However, that would have set up a J play in row O. However, I think the extra points justifies that. Now my opponent's rack. Great play by him. High scoring, sorts the rack out. Now, what did I miss here? Nothing. Fluence was the only bingo. So, delighted to have spotted that. My opponent plays Brunt. I was wondering if Brunters is good. It's not. Criollas was the play here. So, again, delighted to have spotted that. My opponent's rack, not great. He plays Bap. And I have a tricky rack, but I'm miles ahead, so it doesn't matter too much. I played Bilge for 30, and I like that. I think I did need to take out column 1, and that achieved that. Nice rack for my opponent, but no bingo on this board. Now, this was the play I struggled with. Wow, there was Dictator, Triactor as bingos onto the R of Criollos in addition to Aptoto. Well, I'm glad I didn't miss all of those. My opponent's rack, he plays High. Now, this is where I phonied with Feign. So are there any row O plays? There aren't. Well, that suggests to me that Danky is not good. So, moving swiftly on. My opponent plays Sweard. N5. Ah, Fire across here, but keeping a very vowel-heavy rack. I played O for 31. I think that's fine. My opponent plays Murage. And now, my opponent is stuck with the Q. I don't think the options here take that into account, so I'm not going to pay much attention to those. My opponent... Well, let me just see if there was a Q play. There wasn't. So my opponent plays He. Now, Oleine for 14 is being suggested, but that is definitely suboptimal. I do need to play out slowly here. My opponent is totally stuck. I've got the opportunity to play 5 consecutive plays, which I do. And there's no point in looking for suggestions here because in the show plays box, because it's always going to look for playing out in 1. Anyway, it doesn't happen very often that an opponent is stuck with a letter, but it does happen sometimes, and it's important to be aware of that so that you can milk the maximum from the score, and certainly this helped me to get above the 500 mark. So a pretty exciting game, high scoring, high spread. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.